Hi, my name is Tiffany Jackson, and this is the book that I read, and that was Falling Towers by Joel Parker Rhodes. And here is what the activities that I did. So for activity one, I'm doing a Notice and Wonder wall through Padlet. And this Padlet is going to look at two different photos of 9/11, and it's going to be A is of the Twin Towers and B what it looks like now without the Twin Towers. And this is just really going to help the students as it just kind of gets their brain focusing. It's going to be able to see what they notice and what they see and their wonders, of course, is the main point I'm looking at this assignment to know kind of where they've seen this before, if they've seen this before, and just really get that knowledge to see where we need to go next in a lesson, if this is going to be like the very starting base for that. This then will lead into, with a Padlet, this allows kids, all kids, to be able to participate. I would just have to send out a little thing for them to share it with them, and then they'd be able to answer. And I get to see everyone answers. It's anonymous, so that could help as well. Again, get students thinking about 9/11 if they've heard it before, or if not, students by asking wonders. I just get to, this teacher will get to see where they want to go. And also, this is a great thing to work on the English standard of comparing and contrasting two different images. Which leads us into our second activity, and that is this firefighter book and this labeling chart as an activity. So we'd read the book, and it just kind of gives a little view of like what's going on at the firehouse, and then really gets us into that gear. And you're not going to need a lot of things except some glue, some scissors, and just print out. And so this is just really going to help us. The book kind of leads into the activity, and the activity is just kind of showing the importance and why they need all these things, because there are firefighters in the book, because the main character's dad was a firefighter, but that's not found out till later in the book. And these things were crucial in 9/11 for not only their safety, but for others. Our third activity is the stair simulator. This all you're gonna need is a video for this and some paper and pencil to have kids simulate their own. This video is a great way to just showcase what firefighters do every year in just memory of the firefighters who lost their lives and had to climb all those floors, just like the main character's dad, who had to follow in these footsteps. Just gives that showcase of that, and just tells their why. Next, with why this is important, and just really show kids what they need to do, help share those whys of those firefighters and why they still do it today. And by doing the stair simulator as a class, we're working on their math skills when tracking how many stairs and flights. This wouldn't be the exact thing as what firefighters do today, but that would just kind of give them a little understanding and show them that it actually did and does take a lot of work and effort to get up all those flights of stairs. The fourth activity is a safety presentation done by, this would be the Overland Park Fire Department, and you do need to fill out this request form 60 days before the event. You need the time to do it. I have posters and papers and markers in here just to get over to that next thing, as we would come up with these questions before the presenter became in our classroom. So we would just have some questions already on hand to ask them so they don't forget in the moment. These presentations are great. I've seen them before and I've worked with them before, and it's just a great way to show students just to get familiar with the firefighter and the equipment and what could it look like to make a safety evacuation plan. And they just learn some great tips and tricks to not only keep them safe, but their families, and they can go back and ask them questions to their parents as well. In our fifth and final activity of how we're connected, this is actually done in the book, and that's why it's important that I thought I need to have this in here, because it really just shows how the characters connect to one another all throughout. So that's why you need a map. It just kind of shows, just kind of ask where you're from and you put it on the map and you string it together. And that's the whiteboard and markers leads to an activity and show that we are just bigger than ourselves, that we have, as you see in the picture from the book, it just gets smaller and smaller, but we all have those things in common. Really just shows how we're connected. It's a very hands-on thing with having students come up and pin on the map where they are. It's also a great way for us to see it and reflect on as a class throughout the year and not just during this one time. And finally, some things to just wrap this up is that I've learned over reading this book and also doing this activity. Some kids never have heard about 9/11 before, and so this could be a great introduction ways of activities to get them to start understanding about what it is and just but not too much detail. Also, just you can make a lot of activities from one thing that this book obviously it is a chapter book, but it didn't lead me into 5 activities, and I could have thought of more if I needed to. So it just shows how much that we can put into one thing. Another thing is the integration of other subjects. Like I mentioned, we have the math and the stairs and another English connection with that compare and contrast. And lastly, 9/11 affected everyone, whether you know it or not. And through this, you, just like the main character's book, she didn't know that her dad was in 9/11 and played a part in that. And she had never heard about it before because her parents didn't like to talk about it. And so this just truly showed me and just gained some awareness that even though you may have even heard about it before, doesn't mean that you necessarily know always who and how you are connected to it. And thank you.